Ah, hello. Hi, Pat. How are you? Carolyn, Stevie, how are you all doing? Um, how's it going? That looks really nice, that right there. The light, the sun coming through the trees, casting a shadow right there. Kind of got to stop and notice things when they happen. And this being a stress class, I was doing a lot of research this morning on stress and bone loss and the role of stress hormone cortisol on bone metabolism and all of the other aspects of what it does, the whole breakdown that happens inside the body. And so, since this class, I called it stress. I called it that because in 2020, when we started practicing at home, there was so much stress going on. And stress is really behind all breakdown. So whether they say 90% or whatever, it's all of it, right? So, um, hello, Joanne. Nice to see you. Don't always know you're here until after and you say, I was there, right? All right. Anything in particular that you ladies are managing or struggling with? I'd like to know. Um, and then one more thing, some of you that are on here. So Stevie's going with me. I have one more spot for my Scotland trip, which is May 1st through May 9th. I had one lady who had to drop out because her husband is ill. So I have one more spot left, and it really could be two spots because it could be if somebody wanted to bring a friend with them or a partner. So I have plenty of space in the private coach that I've arranged for us. So we have a big Mercedes private coach, 16 seater that's going to take us around Scotland. I've got an amazing trip planned. So for any of you here, if that sounds like something that is interesting to you, reach out to me and I'll send you the information. And that's that. So anything going on that's bothering you guys in particular? And if not, I do have something I'd like to focus on. And I would add something if you have an issue. So if you do have an issue, please tell me. But I did have an area I wanted to focus on today. So if there's nothing in particular, then I'm going to go back there and begin. And then hello to whoever else is here. I wonder if Steve is still here or Lee. Lee and Steve, two men that have not seen in 3 years. Crazy. Almost 3 years. All right. So let me go back here. Okay. So today, using that word stress and stress management and factors of stress in our body, I'd like to focus today's practice on the glutes. Now, the glutes are the largest muscle group in the body, and they play an important role. And they're often underutilized or they're underutilized, but we're unaware of the role that they play and the importance that they play. And so on one hand, the glutes, the tushy, actually supports joints. It supports the hip joint and the knee joint. It supports the body from falling forward. It supports the whole postural alignment aspect of our body. So it can help with the aspect of supporting the head on top of the body. And it's also really important for low back. And for those of you with low back issues, having the back of your body be strong, whether that's the glutes or some of those posterior chain muscles, is really important for staying out of pain, being mobile, and having strength in this part of your body where you have a lower part and an upper part so that you could still do all the things you want to do and wear off injury or wear and tear. So today we're going to focus on the glutes. Also with the glutes, when we want to get a back bend, which is something we all need to work on, we really all need to have more this in our body, but especially up here in this part of our body. It's not just about deepening that lumbar curve. We really want to get length in our upper spine. And if you activate tushy muscles, squeezing your tushy towards each other, not your hamstrings or your quads, but your tushy muscles, then you're able to actually bring in even more freedom to the thoracic spine, to bring in that extension curve, which is really great for bone health, great for posture, for alignment. And so we're going to focus on the tushy today. And for that, I would like you to have either a bolster, if you have a bolster, probably not everyone has that, but pillows, if you could have pillows, and especially harder pillows, like pillows you put on a sofa. If you could get a couple of harder pillows, then we'll use that for our practice today as well. So that can bring the floor to us in some of the moves we're going to do. So if you could please get pillows or a bolster or something for today's practice to support your body. The other props that you'll need are a block, a strap, and a blanket. So gathering the props today that we'll use in the practice, we're going to, of course, take care of our whole body, but really with an emphasis here on the glutes. And I think you'll see when we do that, how many motions in our body are the glutes a part of. And so the more we can be aware of the glutes in the back of the body, keeping it strong, it's going to serve us well for preventing future pain and suffering, and keeping our body strong, our joints strong, back health, hip health, knee health. And I really wish that I would have known more about the glutes when I was managing my hip issues, because they play such an important role. And it is what I noticed I was able to recover the quickest or be out of pain is when I would use my glutes or the back of my body. So that's what today's practice is. Please gather your props that you need. And then let's begin. So in order to have this be a safe practice and a really intentional, deep practice, you want to be connected mind, body, and soul. So to begin with, we're going to bring our awareness here. We're going to gather our awareness from wherever it is and bring it to here, right here. So you could sit in a kneeling position if that's comfortable for you, or a seated position, or if you have a pillow or a bolster between the tushy and the heels, and sit on that. Especially for those knee flexion issues, you have limitations in your knee flexion. You have this elevation in your body limiting the pressure on the knee joint. So this can be a nice way to soften this shape and still keep it in your body if you have it, or work towards getting it if you're really close to having it. So whatever you need to do, sit in kneeling, sit in a crisscross leg position. Let's gather from around. So take your eyes and let your eyes look up. Let your eyes look to the left and gather from the left. Let your eyes look to the right and gather from the right. And then gather behind you, gather down low, gather, bring everything to here, and then look at your hands, bring your hands together, and look at your hands the whole time that you're bringing your hands down to your heart. Inhale, hands are out. Keep your eyes open. Look up, see your hands, bring them together, and then bring them down, straight down the midline to your heart. Inhale. Exhale. Keep your mouth closed and start to breathe in and out through your nose. Let your eyes follow your fingers so that your neck starts to come into a little flexion and extension, mobilizing the neck. Close your eyes. Do the same thing with the eyes closed, and see if you can start to notice the belly stretching, the shoulder stretching, the back stretching. When you close your eyes and you take away the visual, you start to go into the place of feeling. This is how you become more effective in your practice. This is how you stay safe in your practice. Keep your head stationary and let the hands move with breath. Inhaling out, exhaling down. Last one. Bring your hands to your heart. Press your hands to your heart, heart to the hands. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. And then blink your eyes open. Noticing how you feel. Let's prepare to come down onto the ground to get more integration and then to warm up our body safely. So having the block or the pillows or blankets rolled up, whatever it is you have underneath your knees, can be really supportive of low back. So let's do that. Come to the side, bring yourself down onto your mat, and then bring whatever you have underneath your knees and play with this. Maybe you like to have it closer to your body or maybe a little farther. So see what gives you the most low back relief. Having the support of blankets. It could be one pillow under one leg, one under the other. Let your head be supported by your blankets. And then once you have your feet set, bring your awareness to your shoulder blades behind your heart. Bend your elbows, push the upper arm bones into the ground. Lift your body up and slide the shoulder blades towards each other so that you lay on your shoulder blades or lie on. Chickens lay eggs. We lie down. So maybe it's lie down on the shoulder blades. Bring your arms alongside your body. Bring your hands onto your belly. Spread your fingers. Let your pointer fingers touch. Thumbs are up towards the low ribs. Pinky is reaching down towards the legs. And then notice what's happening to the low back now that you've put your shoulder blades in this position. Push your heart up towards the sky. See if that takes away any pressure from the low back. And if it does, notice if anything happens near the front hip joint or the hip bones. Take an inhale through the nose, keep the mouth closed. Exhale to relax, let your chest go back to where it was. Letting your spine try to find what's neutral. Inhale, puff your chest up, push your heart up towards the sky. You could even push the upper arm bones into the ground to help you a little, getting a little extension curve in the upper spine, noticing what happens to the low back. On the exhale, you relax back to neutral. On the inhale, you activate, pushing your arms into the ground, pushing your heart up towards the sky. One more. Push your arms into the ground, push your heart up, and then let your body rest. Bring your awareness to your feet. Push your legs into your prop or your feet into the floor, whatever you can, to lift the tushy. Tilt the pelvis backwards to try to flatten the low back and squeeze the tushy cheeks to activate, to get that pelvic tilt. And then try to rest your body here. If the low back has tension, you go to the neighbors. You go below or above. So above would be that you push the heart up towards the sky to add a little extension into the thoracic to take the tension out of the curve that's naturally in the lumbar, which is the extension curve. Or you posteriorly tilt your pelvis to minimize that extension curve. So for those of you with low back issues, the two ways to get out of that discomfort is to have an effect on that curve. Either one, tilt pelvis back to minimize that curve, or number two, press heart forward and add a back bend to bring the tension up the spine. Bring your awareness to your hands on your belly. Begin to breathe into the palms. Breathe into the hands. Let the hands move up towards the palms. Eyes are closed. Pay attention to where your breath is when you begin. Don't do anything to it. See if you could become a witness. Noticing where is the breath in your body. Is it mostly the heart moving near the heart? Or do you feel that activity at the lower ribs?
Bring your awareness to your hands. Start to breathe to your hands. Notice where your mind goes, and if your mind leaves this moment, right here, bring it back. Don't let it go to yesterday. Don't let it go to tomorrow. Let it stay here and today. The best way to do that is to keep it active. So let your awareness be on the palms as you breathe down to your belly and breathe into your palms. This is how you ground your mental energy, how you take control of your mind, managing your thoughts, managing your nervous system, managing your breath rate, managing stress. Deepen the breath so you feel a lot of tension in the low belly area from the inhale. And then begin to breathe down to your tailbone, to the sacrum, to the low back. So you feel the breath coming in and back. Finishing your last couple of breaths, breathing to your hands, breathing to your tailbone, breathing to your back, breathing to your belly. Stay here in this moment. Letting go of your last breath. Bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Let's draw the knees in. Bend the knees. Draw the knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Come on to your side. Noticing when you open your eyes how you feel, if there's a heaviness. If you were able to bring in this heaviness up in the mind area, that's that relaxation response. So it's a really good gauge for you to notice how well you're managing your thoughts when you're breathing, when you're trying to be present moment. Take your hand on the ground and push yourself up to a seated position.
Coming all the way up. If you do cough after you're breathing, that's a good sign because you're able to dislodge mucus. If there's any mucus in your lungs, that's what coughing is. Coughing is to unblock the parts of your lungs that exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen. And the lungs are one of the major detoxification areas of the body. It's one of the ways the body manages acidosis or metabolic acidosis or maintains that precise pH balance. So really need our lungs for a lot of things. And because it is respiration is the body system we have control over, it's a great thing to practice often so that you actually have more control. And the more often you practice this, the more control you gain in the times that you really need it, when you're having a lot of stress in your life. So let's take our space and we're going to start to warm up the body and start to use the glutes and understand the role of the glutes and what they do in our body. So we're going to have our blanket on the mat and then blankets or pillows or a bolster up at the top. For those of you that are stronger, have a stronger practice, if you didn't have that, that would be okay. But for those of you that have some issues with joints or issues with your back or anything, it may be good to have this. And it is really nice to even begin with this to give that support and then move away from this. So coming up here to your shins, the glutes are the largest muscle group in the body. There's a min, a max, and a medium glute. The medium glute is on the side of the body and comes around to the side. You've got the minimum with the minimus, gluteus minimus, which is where the legs attach to your body. And then you've got maximus, the big muscle. What the glutes do is they bend your body forward. So bring yourself here into this position, have your knees be pretty wide and look forward with your heart lifted, spine in a neutral position and do a little bending here. You'll start to feel those muscles heat up. You may even feel right in the very center where that glute minimus is attached to that femur bone. As you bend forward, you bend according to what's appropriate for you. What you do not want to do is bend your spine. And appropriate forward folding is very important as we age, and especially if you have osteoporosis. You don't want to bend. See, we could bend forward from our spine, right? I could bend forward and reach down and grab something, totally bending my spine, which is terrible for bone health. Or I could keep my spine in a neutral position and bend down and grab something from the floor. So we need our glutes to be active. We need to understand them. We need to keep them strong and we need to use them, and we don't. And so that's what I've noticed in my own body when I had hip injuries and when I work with people privately in teaching them yoga and working in bone health. So moving forward and back, the hip bend here, I like to say, imagine you have raw eggs in the crease of your leg, right where your leg attaches to your body, so that as you bend forward, the low belly comes towards the top thighs and you try to crack these raw eggs. So really think about cracking raw eggs. And when you're cracking the eggs, your glutes are lengthening in order to bring you forward in this position, and they're contracting to bring you back up. So make this be a little bit more forceful. Bring your hands into this. Bring your body forward. Bring your body back. Now imagine that, and then what can happen here is you could be in an anterior tilt and have an effect on low back. So now come into a neutral or a posterior tilt. Think about your tailbone that's reaching down towards the ground. And imagine you have a paintbrush on the tailbone. Now paint a paint stripe back to the top part of your mat or the bottom part of your mat. Now try to paint first. Try to paint before you bring yourself back up. So you actually activate the glutes and the tilt. Actually contract your tushy. Squeeze your tushy towards the center to paint the brush forward to bring yourself up. And keep your head up. You're bending back. You're trying to paint a strip of paint on the bottom of the floor to bring yourself back up. Again, one more. And bring yourself up. Notice what you notice about your glutes. Bringing yourself forward. Bring your hands pretty far forward.
Bring your knees forward wide, so you're wide here. Now start to push yourself side to side, stretching that side glute muscle and some of those other lateral chain muscles. Keep your head active and forward. Really accentuate it. Push the hips the most to the side. You might even start to feel your adductors, your inner thigh muscles stretching as you do this, pushing your pelvis side to side. Like you had a big 30-pound alligator tail that you were swashing from side to side on the floor behind you. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring yourself forward, weight bear in your wrist, squeeze or press your fingers into the ground and press your fingertips into the ground. Now activating the glute, bend your hip joint. Inhale to come forward, keep your head lifted. Exhale to go back, push your heart forward. And then if low back is bothering you, it's that posterior tilt that's going to help you. So let your tailbone point back and then start to point your tailbone down so that you flatten out your lower back, or you bring in what's called flexion into that lower spine. And that's going to stretch back muscles, lengthen back muscles, minimize that curve. And you'll feel the stretch. Notice where you feel the stretch. Bring yourself forward, come all the way forward, look forward, bend your elbows and bring yourself down to your prop. From here, hands are spread, elbows are down. Imagine you're pushing a marble away with your nose. So let your upper spine lead the way. Bring yourself up, push your belly back, point your tailbone down, flatten out that lower back. Bring your body down. Maybe your forehead reaches to the end of your prop. Inhale to come up. Exhale to lower down. Head is lifted. Inhale, push the marble away. And exhale. Crack your raw eggs. Crack the raw eggs. Imagine there's raw eggs right at where your legs attach to your body. Exhale to lower. Inhale to open. Exhale to move back. Go slow so you can really roll through your joints effectively and safely and efficiently. Lowering down. Tip of your nose forward. Stretch your belly. Contract and lengthen the glutes. Stretch the spine. Go slow. This is a flow. You want to be really intentional when you do this. If you want to try to take the block or the bolster or the blankets or whatever it is you're using away, you could move that to the side and try this without going through the full range of motion in your joints. Go at your pace. Use your breath. Inhale when your heart opens, when you come into a back bend. Exhale when your body is folding. Couple more. Go slow. If you need to rest, rest. And then finish your last one. Bring yourself back, cracking your eggs, lengthening your glutes, stretching your low back, stretching your spine. When we forward fold, we stretch the back body. Walk your hands so that they're coming. I want your arms to be straight, no bending in the elbows. So bring them as close together as you can, still keeping them straight. Let your forehead rest on the floor or a block or whatever you have. Pushing your heart towards this ground And then try to point your tailbone down, lengthening low back muscles, lengthening glutes. Back of the body is lengthening, front of the body is contracting. We're going to stretch the side of the body and lengthen the spine. So if you have a prop there, move it off to the side. Walk your hands over to the left. Fingers are spread, hands are straight. And then let your head rest on your arm. So if you go over to the left, you're going to rest on the right arm and push your hips to the right. Feel that stretch on the right side. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself over to the other side. Walking over to the right side. Rest your head on the left arm. Push your hips to the left. Take one more breath. Walk yourself back to center, and then walk yourself all the way up. And then noticing how you feel with whatever you do. A lot of popularity exists in the yoga practice, especially the flowing practices. And that the vinyasa flow and the flow is really what took over here in the West. And it is the practice that I started practicing in my 30s. It's more of a stronger practice, a flowing practice. But as we age, flowing through joints, especially quickly flowing through joints, is not good. It's wear and tear in the joints. And what I've noticed in even my own body or those that I work with or in teaching is that whatever dysfunction exists in your body, you don't address it when you're moving quickly through things. So you still reiterate those old patterns. And so when we slow down the practice, when we slowly move through flowing joints, you're able to notice a little more about your own body, about asymmetry or issues that you have. And that can be when it comes to healing and staying as strong, and because alignment is really important for bone health, for joint health, for pain, less pain. So let's do a little strengthening for the back muscles that utilize the glutes. Having either a bolster or a block or a couple of blocks. We're going to lower down, we're going to bend forward and put a little in a slower pattern. We're going to put a little bit more pressure on the muscles that bend. So the muscles that bend the body are the glutes, and then the back muscles get involved. And for a lot of people with back issues, if you're not bending with a neutral spine, letting your glutes do it, and you're using your back too much, that's where that happens. So even if you try this, come up here in this position here, if you keep your head lifted and you go back, you're mostly going to feel that right here. Now, let your head go first and try to bend. And you'll notice that there's a lot of tension that comes in here to the back. So I like to say that wherever the head goes, the spine follows. And so if your head is looking down, your spine is then going to follow and come down. And we don't want that. And that's actually another thing that's taught in some of the flowing type practices of yoga is the forward folding, sometimes starting chin to head and then rolling down your spine, because it's to articulate and stretch the back of the spine. But if you have osteoporosis, no. And then for those of us that are in menopause or over 50, better to avoid that and find safer ways to stretch your spine. So let's come on to our shins. Being safe and being the healthiest version of ourselves is what we all want, right? So let's raise our awareness to what we need to raise our awareness to. So you're coming out to your shins, your block or your bolster is in front of you. Take your hands down alongside your body. Inhale. Exhale. Start to crack raw eggs. Imagine there's raw eggs between your legs that you're going to crack. Bring yourself forward to wherever you can with your arms still out to the side like this, and then let your hands go to the back. At the very end, if you're able to keep that neutral spine and bring your head down, fine, but don't bring the head down if it means rounding. This is the tough part. Take an exhale. As you inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. Let your glutes work to bring you back up. The back of your body is working and you're lengthening in the front. Take your hands down alongside your body. Exhale and inhale. And then as you exhale, forward folding is exhaling. When we close off the lungs or close off the body or come back to center, it's when we exhale. Hands go onto the back and then inhale. Let your elbows reach up when you come up. So keep your spine in that neutral. Push your elbows back. That'll bring the shoulder blades onto the back to protect you. Hands down alongside. Inhale. And as you exhale, inhale. Exhale. So you're rolling your hands, keeping them in the same place, bringing your hands onto your sacrum, pushing the elbows up towards the sky. Inhale. Go slow. Slower is harder. Slower is more glute work. Exhale. Push your tushy back. Low belly towards top thighs. Don't compromise your low back. So if you get to a place of fatigue, then stop. Take a break. Because your low back will take over, which is why a lot of people have back issues, because the back takes the brunt of everything. Let the tip of the nose be going straight down towards your bolster. One more. Tushy back. Forward folding safely, strongly. And then bring yourself all the way up. Noticing what you notice about your glutes. Let's take the bolster off for now. So let's come into a lunge, which is a really great way to stretch the muscles of the pelvis, stretch the glutes, and to strengthen the glutes. Real emphasis here will be on the glutes. So let's take the left leg forward. Left leg forward, hold your block, your right hand in the block. And then we're going to be bringing our body forward. So we're going to lengthen and contract one glute and have this glute work a lot to bend this front leg and then to bring it back. So a lot of the front leg, the left leg here, a lot of glute activity here on this leg. And then on the right leg, we're lengthening the hip flexors, which work in opposition of the glutes. So they're lengthening on the front when the glutes are contracting when we do our forward fold. So bring your hand onto your left hand onto your left thigh. Bring your right hand onto your left thigh as well. Bring yourself forward and back. Inhale to come forward. Push that front heel into the floor, the front foot into the floor. Feel that activation in the left glute. Again, bringing yourself forward. Heart is lifted. Bring yourself forward as much as you can. Come forward. Your left foot is forward of your knee, so make sure your left foot is forward. That'll allow you to come into this a little bit more. And then come forward and stay here. Bring your awareness to your left foot. Push your left foot into the floor like crazy. Take your hand on the right hand on the block. Take the left hand on the left thigh. Push that left leg into the ground like crazy. If you'd like to flip the right toes under and lift the right foot off, you can. And if you do this, push that left foot into the floor like crazy. Really let that left glute take a lot of this. Left leg, left glute, right hip joint. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. From here, we're going to do a little rotation. Put your hand on that block, hand on your leg, long spine, and then look over the left leg. Now, if you'd like to go a little deeper in your twist, you could take your right elbow on the outside of the left leg. Hands are together, and then try to bring your hands towards your heart. So you're elevating away from that front leg. Be forward with your body. The more forward you are, the more left glute work you're doing. Really push that foot into the ground, lengthen and rotate your spine. Take one more breath. To come out, don't round your spine, keep your head lifted. Bring yourself forward, bring yourself back, and then we'll go to the other side. So you're going to bring your right foot forward now. Right foot forward. When the right foot comes forward, you want your right foot to be more forward than your knee. So don't have your foot here, don't have it right underneath. Take it really far forward and start to come into that right leg. Really bring your awareness onto the right side. When you come forward, your body weight comes forward, activating that right glute. Hand can be on your thighs and on the block. If you take your hands away, you definitely have to manage a little bit more balance in the hip joint as the body moves forward and backwards. The hips are managing that. So for balance, and those of you wanting to train or get stronger in your balance, maybe try to put your hand on your right leg, maybe both hands on the right leg, and maybe not so much pressure in them if you can. Have them there in case you need it. But bringing yourself forward and back, bringing your body weight into different places in that hip joint. So challenging balance here, proprioceptively. Proprioceptive nervous system. And then you're going to bring yourself forward. Stay here. Take your hand on the block, hand on your thigh, long spine, so make sure you're not rounding. Really bring yourself forward, lengthen that back leg, stretching that back hip joint. Hand here. Now bring your awareness to the right foot. Push the right heel into the floor like crazy and see if you can feel that activation there in the right back leg. If here you would like to flip the left leg under and the toes under and come up, you could try that, strengthening that back hip joint. Really push that right heel into the ground. Push your body weight over to the right so you're really activating that right glute. And then bring your leg down. We're going to come into the rotation. Spine is long, and then you try to turn your heart over the right leg. If you'd like to go a little deeper, you bring left elbow on the outside of the right leg. Hands are together. And then you push the hands and try to bring them towards your heart. That'll get you to lengthen a little more and rotate. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. Keep your head lifted when you come out. Bring yourself back. Come all the way out. We're going to come into a rest position for seated. If your knees bend, you could put the block between your ankles and sit on the block. Otherwise, if you need to come into a crisscross leg position, do that. Come into a place where you could rest. Close your eyes. Let your awareness go into your body. Using bigger muscles, largest muscle in the body, glutes. Some more oxygen will be needed, especially when you demand more. Lunging is a great way to strengthen glutes, strengthen hips, supportive of low backs and spine. and knee joint, hip joint. Take one more breath. Open your eyes. Take your hands, shake your hands. Take a little tension out of the upper body here. Ping your hands onto your shoulders. Start to make circles with your elbows. Try to make pretty big circles. So whenever we work in one area, the tension of that may go to other areas. So in this case, coming to the upper body, let your head go up when your elbows come in. Let your elbows come closer together, making the biggest circles you can. Feel that stretch in your tummy, and then try to push your tailbone down. It may limit your range of motion a little. And then you could go into more of a bigger move. Let your pelvis tilt if it needs to. And one more. And then bring yourself back to neutral. So let's go on to using the glutes because we're going to need them. Take your strap and make a loop in your strap. So we're going to do camel posture, activating our glutes to see how much more back bend we can get. We're going to bring our hands in our strap like this, either putting them on the back of the hands, or if you have wrist issues, you could bring it up to your wrists. But this can actually help to strengthen wrists as well if you keep it down in your hands. So choose what's appropriate for you, where you need the strap to be. And then come up to this kneeling position. Take the strap behind you on your hands or wrists, whatever you're going to do. Knees are directly underneath you. So we're going to come into what's called camel posture, bending our spine, but let's activate the glutes first. So you're in this position. Now bring your awareness to your tushy and start to squeeze your tushy. Maybe even squeezing your tushy towards each other. That seems to be a thing to do, as if you were holding a pencil between your tushy cheeks. So squeeze your tushy. Let your legs be soft. And from this squeeze tushy, point your tailbone down, lengthen your spine, and then push on your strap. Lift your strap up, let your shoulder blades slide towards each other. Let the shoulder blades press forward and lift your heart. Coming into as much of a back bend as you can. Squeeze the tushy to free up the upper spine to bend. Hands are reaching down, pushing into the strap and back. Down, back, and up and out. Squeeze your tushy so you can get a little bit more. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Come into a rest position, whatever that is for you. If you could sit on your heels, do that. So we're going to do a little bit more with the glutes in mind, and we're going to challenge ourselves. We're going to be on all fours. We're lifting our limbs away from the ground. So this is going to strengthen the glute area, but also low back and upper back. Coming on to all fours. If you do have wrist issues, try to support your wrists in whatever way you need. A rolled up mat, it can be really helpful for those with wrist issues to support the wrist so it doesn't bend as much. Trying to make whatever you need in order to do this. And then if you are able to come into the full flexion in your wrist joint, do that, because we need healthy wrists for fracture prevention. Spread your hands pretty wide. Knees are coming right out of your pelvis, right straight down from the pelvis. And then let's exhale and then inhale, kick back up with a flexed foot, flexed knee, and come down. Don't let your knee go all the way down. Let it graze. Inhale, exhale. One more. Now out to the side. Inhale, exhale. Press your fingertips in to the floor. Now take the leg and do a circle. You can let your body be pretty loose here as you come into the biggest circle in one direction. And then switch other direction. Keep your arms straight. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's come off of the wrist for a second. Take a break. Shake your wrists. Bend your fingers. Roll your wrists around. Let's stretch the wrist. Take the wrist across your body, straight arm. Bend the hand under and push the hand towards your body. Then flip the wrist up. Push the hand towards you. Really reach through the heel of the hand here and keep your arms straight. And then the other side. Arm across the body. Bend the hand down. Push the hand towards you. And then flip the hand up. And then take your hands and shake your hands. Let's go to the other side. Coming back onto your wrist, pointer fingers are forward, hands are underneath the shoulders. Exhale. Inhale, lift the other leg up and down. Go slow. Slower is harder. Slower is more advanced, and slower is going to develop more strength in your joints and your muscles. Increase the range of motion, strength, flexibility. Moving on to the side, lift the leg out to the side. Keep your arms straight. Now you're doing circles. And then the other direction. Let it be the kneecap that's making the circle. And then bring yourself out. Maybe noticing that that leg you were on had to stabilize, and the act of stabilization is actually a part of the job of the glutes. Take your hands, shake your hands, take your arm forward, bend your wrist, stretch the wrist. And then the other direction. And the same thing with the other. So we were bending and straightening the leg there, using the glute to lengthen and contract, to lift and to mobilize that leg. And then the other side had to stabilize. So we had one side of the glutes doing one job, one the other. One was mobilizing, one was stabilizing. So we're going to go into a spinal balance, which is going to be movement to lift the limbs off the ground. And then also it's going to add some strength to the whole posterior chain. So this is good for back health, using the glutes in a different way. We're going to lift, we're not going to bend the leg as much. We're going to hold it up straight at the top. So it's a different angle, different pressure or tension. We are on our wrists again. So if you need to modify. If not, coming to all fours. Let's slide left leg away, right hand away. Tip of the nose is straight down towards the ground. Spine is in a neutral position. Exhale. Inhale to lift the leg and the arm off. Exhale to lower. Inhale and exhale. Let's let your head follow the arm. So you bring a little back bend into the spine. Lift the leg as high as you can. Strengthening hamstrings, glutes, low back, upper back. One more, come up and stay up. Look forward, turn your thumb up towards the sky. Reach as long as you can off the right fingers and out of the left toes. If you want a little challenge, you could try to take the right foot off the ground. Take one more breath and then bring your hand down. Let's do the other side. Slide left hand away, right leg. Exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Let your head go with your hand. One more. Stay here. Reach long with the right leg, long with the left hand. Thumb up towards the sky. If you do want a challenge, you could bring that left foot off. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down and out. Come all the way up. Shake your wrists. Bend all the fingers. Have to keep our hands strong, wrists strong, glutes strong. Take your hands down alongside your body. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Stay here. Let your head come forward. Let your arms be alongside your body. Really working to get your arms to be either beside or back, letting the upper arms go, the hands go back. So notice if you're here, really keep pushing that hand back for posture. Lift your heart and then let your legs be a little farther apart. Squeeze the tushy cheeks and point the tailbone down. So squeeze your tushy cheeks like crazy to stabilize and protect the lumbar spine and point that tailbone straight down towards the ground. Notice how that brings in a little bit lower back relief. Arms are here, strengthening postural muscles. We need this for balance, having strong upper body. We need alignment and posture, all a part of balance, fall prevention, bone health, healthy aging, all the things we all want and need. Squeeze the tushy cheeks a lot, like you're trying to squeeze a pencil between your cheeks, and point the tailbone down. Let your chest look up, let your gaze look up. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Shake everything. Do a kneeling dance. Let your body move. Move around in your joints. Let your arms be back, not just forward. So not just forward. Let them come into the back plane as well as you're shaking. And then come to catch your awareness, your attention, and your breath. Close your eyes in whatever seated position works for you. Gather your breath, gather your thoughts. Let your mind go into your body, noticing what it notices. Breathe to your glutes. Blink your eyes open. Let's come down onto the ground. Take your blanket to the top of your mat. Come on to your side. Come all the way down. Bring your knees into your chest and then hold on underneath your hamstring, stretching glutes, stretching low back. Feel the low back pressing into the ground. If you are able to reach up and grab the big toes and keep the feet really far apart, so only hold on to the toes if the legs are spread, not when the legs are together. Most people can hold their feet here with the toes together. It's a lot harder to hold the toes when your legs are apart. So if you cannot hold your toes when the legs are apart, then hold on underneath here, because there's an intention for this. It's called Happy Baby, and we're trying to stretch the hip area, the glutes, the low back, trying to add that deep flexion, posterior tilt in your pelvis, all those things to give relief from whatever was practiced in today's practice so far. And then go ahead and come down. So either take the blanket away from your head or make sure it's the most narrow fold it could be. Push your arms into the ground, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. And then move your feet so that they're hip distance. Push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, tilt your pelvis under so your low back tries to touch the floor first and you correct that low back curve. Take your hands down alongside your body, tilt your pelvis back, point your tailbone up, exhale, and then inhale to lift your tushy away from the ground, or rather to push away from the ground so that you're actually activating the posterior chain, really using your glutes. Push your heels into the ground, a couple here to move the spine in this flowing bridge. Squeeze the tushy as you push away from the ground. That'll give you that freedom in the spine. And then bring yourself back to neutral. Walk your feet so that they're hip distance. The space between your knees is only a few inches. Lift your head up, lengthen your neck. Tilt your pelvis back, flattening your low back, and then peel your spine up a little. You're just a little off the ground. You're not too far off the ground. Keep your left foot into the ground and lift your right foot up, stabilizing the pelvis here. You could either have the foot hovering, you could have it at tabletop, or you could have it straight up and down. You decide. Holding here. Do a little couple pulses here. Push away from the ground with the left leg. Push that right leg up towards the sky. And then hold. Bend your knee. Let's switch. Right foot is in the ground. You're either hovering, tabletop, or straight, up to you. And then when you're here, pulse. And then bring both feet down. Stay here with your pelvis. Dig your heels into the ground. Try to flatten your low back, even though your tushy's away from the ground. Dig your heels in and pulse. Trying to squeeze the tushy cheeks. Neck is long. The weight that's lifting off the ground is only coming right by the low ribs. Push away from the ground. Push with your heels. Hold, and then release. Take your feet wide, maybe to the edges of the mat. Dig your heels into the floor. Tilt your pelvis back, and then dig your heels in, and let's peel the spine off the ground, maybe right by the low heart, and then pulses. A different angle. Close your eyes. Is it smooth when you lift your pelvis up, or does it waver side to side? Dig your heels in. Push away. Bring your awareness to your heels. Push. Push away from the floor. Push away from the floor. So think about that pushing action rather than thinking about the pelvis lifting up. Push and let that lift the pelvis. Hold. And then let your body come down. Bring yourself into a fully stretched position for a break. Arms are overhead, legs are straight. Tuck your chin towards your chest so there's not too much tension in the upper back. Take one more breath. Look to your side, get your block, bend your knees. Bring the block between your legs. Walk your feet as close as you could get them to your body. We're going to come up into a bridge and stretch, strengthen the whole posterior chain. You either use your arms in a bent position, straight position, or if you could clasp, you clasp. Rock side to side to narrow your chest to bring shoulder blades closer towards each other. Tilt your pelvis back, squeeze your tushy. Exhale, squeeze the block. Now inhale to peel up and away. Coming into your bridge, whatever variation you're going to do, bent arms, straight arms, or clasped. Come up here and take 5 breaths. Try to bend your spine as much as you can. Push away from the ground and push with your arms. When it's time to come down, bring yourself down slowly, 1 vertebra at a time. Come on your heels are off, you're on your tippy toes. Try to draw, lengthen your spine, tilt your pelvis back, and then place your spine back down on the ground. Bring the blanket back underneath your head. Block off to the side. Draw the knees into your chest. Get your strap. Strengthening the back of the body, take out tension, stretching the glutes. Take your strap on your legs, have your feet be wider than your body, and then draw your legs towards the wall behind you, stretching the back of your body. Straight legs or bent legs, whatever. If you go to straight legs, you'll get a little more intensity right where the glutes attach to the legs, but really taking the tension out here. Take your legs wide now, bring them back to center. Take them really wide, holding onto your strap. So wide and holding onto the strap. And then draw the legs back towards the wall behind you. Keep your legs straight if you can. Then coming back to center. Bring your legs so they're not quite as wide, but they're wider than your body. And then bend your knees. Soles are facing up towards the sky. And pull your knees towards your armpits. One more breath. Let your strap go down, knees into chest. It's time for Shavasana. So if you'd like to put something underneath your legs, you could put something underneath your legs, or if you want to come into a fully outstretched position, choose the best position for you. So get yourself into whatever is the correct position for the integration of everything that happened today in the practice to integrate into your cells, your souls, to become a new memory in your body. Let go, stay in the present moment, stay connected to your breath. Kariyam, kariyam, ninameya kame. Govinde, mukande, udare, apare. Kariyam, kariyam, ninameya kame. Govinde, mukande, udare, apare. Kariyam, kariyam, nirname kame. Govinde mukande, udare 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 apare. Kariyam, kariyam, nirname kame. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Begin to move your body gently. And drawing the knees into the chest. With the eyes closed, noticing how your body feels after today's practice. Determining if this was appropriate for you. And that's how you adjust and decide, determine what you need every time you show up to your mat. Could you do more? Or was it too much? Or was it just right? Coming onto your side, take your hand, pushing yourself up and away from the ground. Coming onto your shins. Keep your eyes closed, spine is long, bring your hands to your heart. Press your hands to your heart, hands towards each other, long neck. We're going to close with sound, a gentle hum. Exhale. Inhale to your tushy. Bowing in gratitude. So as always with every practice, making sure that it's appropriate, that you ask for the right amount. Because within each posture is a lot of range of motion, and you decide where is the appropriate place for you and your body. And also, what's the appropriate energy output? So paying attention to the rest of the day, was that too much utilization of internal energy for that practice? Or was it appropriate? And then making sure you nourish yourself with the foods that you need to produce internal energy so you can show up at your practice to strengthen your body, strengthen your bones, strengthen your joints, improve range of motion and flexibility in the joints, work on balance, posture, alignment, and be the best, healthiest versions of ourselves as we age. So Stevie, I was thinking about that would be this is perfect for balance and strengthening for Scotland, for all the things we're going to do, keeping us nice and strong so we can go to Scotland and be safe. Hi, Nancy. Oh, Nancy, this was great for you. So I'm glad that you were here, and this would be a really good practice. I hope it was. I know we haven't really, I don't exactly know all the things that are going on with you right now. I kind of do, but all that glute work, glutes are so supportive of so many aspects of our body. Great, Stevie. Good. Yeah, Carolyn, strong. I'd say that that's kind of going to be my thing now. Yes, perfect, Joanne. I'm moving a little bit more towards some of the strengthening aspects, but definitely I'm going to give some opportunities for those that need to not be in that strength place. But if we're going to have strong bones and strong muscles, we have to demand quite a bit. We have to demand more than we did yesterday. And that's how we're going to do it. So, but strong and safe. That's the goal. All right. If anybody is interested in learning more about Scotland, May 1st through May 9th, let me know. All right. Thanks so much. It was really great to have you. And whoever else is out there that's not talking to me, hello. Nice to see you. See you. Nice to practice with you. All right, everyone, have a great day, and I will see you next time. You're welcome, Pat. Hopefully it was appropriate for you, Pat. I was thinking of you today with the back, which is why I gave a lot of back cueing and ways to say safe in your back. That was a lot. I was thinking of you. And then, of course, if Nancy was here, I would have been thinking of her as well during that, if I knew she was here. So anyway, all right. So yeah, I know when I know that you're here. So for those of you that don't say hello to me or whatever, when I know you're here and I know you, then I'm definitely thinking about you in the practice. And is this good for you or not? So some of my direction back there is because I'm really speaking to the people I know that need this thing or that thing. Good. All right, Pat. Well, the goal is to get that back of yours nice and strong so that your head and shoulders and neck can be okay. All right. Thank you. Have a beautiful day, everyone.